Hi, I'm Danielle and my partner's name is Katie. Today we'll be discussing what causes us to be defensive, what we do to resolve it, and how we can prevent it altogether. This topic can be found in our course textbook Looking Out, Looking In on Chapter 9 on pages 414 to 427. Defensiveness is the attempt to protect a presenting image that a person believes is being attacked. This attack may not always be physical, so if it isn't, what exactly are you protecting yourself from? It's important to remember that a person consists of numerous physical traits, personality characteristics, aptitudes, attitudes, and other various aspects of an image. When those around us accept the image we are presenting, there is no need to be defensive. However, when those around us confront us with face-threatening acts, which are behaviors by another that are perceived as an attack, we then become defensive. As humans, we have a need for approval, and we want to convince ourselves that we fit to the picture that we have constructed for ourselves. Types of defensive reactions. When someone attacks our presenting self, we are faced with cognitive dissonance, which is an inconsistency between two pieces of information, attitudes, or behaviors. As natural communicators, we strive to resolve this. We do so through using defense mechanisms. They are used to maintain a presenting image that an individual believes is being threatened. We will be discussing one of the most common methods: attacking the critic. This follows the old principle that the best defense is a good offense. Attacking defensive maneuvers can take several forms. The first is verbal aggression. This is when a person avoids facing unpleasant information by verbally attacking the confronting source. For example, if your roommate tells you you're messy, you might say back, "Well, at least I always pay my rent on time." This shifts the focus and blame onto the critic without acknowledging the original judgment that you were messy, whether it may or may not be true. Sarcasm. This is when an individual redirects a perceived threat to his or her presenting self by attacking the critic with condescending or ironic remarks. If your friend sees that there's clouds outside, and they might say, "It's supposed to rain today," you may swiftly reply, "Oh, aren't you so smart?" This may disguise an attack with humor, but can sometimes result in a mutually destructive downward spiral with this hostile and disconfirming nature. We will now discuss how to prevent defensiveness through using Gibbs categories.
Evaluation versus description. Evaluation is you language, whereas description is often I language. Evaluative communication, in one form, is you language. Descriptive communication focuses on the speaker's thoughts and feelings instead of judging the other person. Descriptive tends to provoke less defensiveness than you statements. Control versus problem orientation. An attempt to control another versus finding a solution. Controlling communication is when a sender seems to be imposing a solution on the receiver with little regard for the receiver's need of interest. With problem orientation, the communicators focus on finding a solution that satisfies both their needs and those of the others involved. Strategy versus spontaneity. Dishonesty and manipulation versus honesty. Strategy is to characterize defense-arousing messages in which speakers hide their ulterior motives. The behavior that contrasts strategy is spontaneity. It simply means being honest rather than lying and manipulating. Neutrality versus equality. Creating indifference versus helping rid communication of quality and difference. Neutral attitude is disconfirming, as it communicates a lack of concern for the welfare of another and implies that the other person isn't very important to you. Empathy happens when people show that they care for the feelings of another. It means accepting another's feelings and putting yourself in the other's place. Superiority versus equality. I'm better than you versus feelings of equality. Superiority is associated as a point out. Any message that suggests that I'm better than you, which will likely cause feelings of defensiveness in the recipients. Equality are those who have many superior skills and talents but are capable of projecting feelings of equality rather than superiority. Many times we communicate with others who have greater talents or knowledge than our own, but don't communicate an attitude of superiority. Certainty versus provisionalism, regarding own opinions versus those who have strong opinions but can change their stand. Certainty is when a communicator regards their own opinions with certainty while disregarding the ideas of others, which demonstrates a lack of regard for the thoughts that others find important. The receiver will likely act defensively. Provisionalism is when people have strong opinions but acknowledge that they might not know everything and are willing to change their stand if it seems reasonable.
This concludes our presentation. Thanks for watching.